let's talk about our officers in navy blue. Men and women we entrust. We had a Ghana police force, which shifted to a Ghana police service. We wanted them to be more, not servile, but to serve
some civility.
But right now, check like some of them are involved in so many things, and including Bullion Van Robberies. And that for me is just, I mean, we've heard of instances where police officers supposedly rent out their guns, all sorts of things. But here we have police officers involved in Bullion Van Robberies. The first statement from the Ghana Police Service pointed to 2 of them, who later were taken down in that exchange. As I bring in Dr. Adam Ebona on this bit. Doc, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers.
Right. Hearing of this entire bit, if you remember the Adedimpo, if I may not have got it right, the Jamestown incident where another police officer was gunned down. I mean, terrible, the pictures. And to find out that other police officers have been involved, supposedly, in some of these Bullion Van robberies. What is the picture that it paints from the start when it comes to the Ghana Police Service? What's your initial reaction?
Well, my initial reaction would be one of disgust. And
if you could speak up for me, Dr. Bona.
Can you hear me?
Yes, it's better now. You say your initial reaction is one of what?
Well, one of disgust.
Right.
Is it clearer now?
It is. Please go ahead.
Yes, and it's not just police officers who gunned him down, but these are his recruit mates, his dormitory mates, his badge mates. And so it goes beyond just police officers. It has to do, it extends to people he literally eats with, people he knows very well, people he enlisted together with, and, they finished together, and is coming out to be. Because then these are not just one, some other police officers, but his own people he knows,
right.
He knows very well. So it tells you how merciless, this, alleged police suspects are.
Where do you think the problem lies? Some have suggested, for example, that it has to do with political interference, where the NDC and the MPP are having their people infiltrate the services, including the Ghana Police Service, jobs for the boys and girls. Others also talk about the quality of the people we even get into the service in terms of how we scan them, the processes involved, and then again, even the training. Where would you lay the blame?
Well, I would say all of it. You would have to start from political interference. So I am interested in knowing who led this gang of police robbers when they were civilians to be enlisted into the Ghana Police Service, because
right.
They seem to be friends, and they seem to have done some work probably for somebody, a big person somewhere, and the person might have led them and block into the police service. We need to know who brought them in. And once we are able to tell them, we can begin to look back and see how is that person like. Probably these people were stealing and robbing for the person,
right?
And the person found a way to bring them in. SWAT. I would entreat the IGP to disband the national SWAT. I think the national
to disband what?
Say that again.
To disband what?
To disband the national SWAT, the SWAT.
Oh, the SWAT team, right.
Yes, he should disband it and reorganize it, because over the years, it has courted for itself a very bad reputation. You can talk about Ayawa Suez Wagon, you can talk about DSP Azugu, and the list goes on. And so I think that is not the kind of police unit we want.
And
is an elitist. It's supposed to be an elitist unit, so that if there was any hostage taking, if there was any terror activities in inland Ghana, they are supposed to be trained to ensure that they de-escalate and, take care of the situation. If they themselves, after getting the specialized training, have ended up, some of them have ended up becoming armed robbers and killing their colleagues, then I would say, without missing words, that they have actually outlived their usefulness. I would employ the current IGP and his former team to disband the SWAT team or the SWAT unit as it is, and, post them to other units and reorganize the entire SWAT unit.
Right, so
you're
basically...
people
right.
within the SWAT that I'm aware of. But looking at what is coming out, I'll tell you that, Ben, this is not the kind of elitist unit we want to see within the Ghana Police.
So basically some reconstitution important in there. And it's important you make this point because we've even had, people in power at some point to the fact that, I even, got a few people into the Ghana Police Service or that other security service. So very relevant point. Is that something you feel we can...
Yes, it can be curtailed. And I must say that the current IGP, at least, working closely with the police, I can tell that I've actually seen politicians, not someone telling me, who express their discomfort about trying to get some of their own into the Ghana Police Service, the recent recruitment exercise. And it looks like they couldn't, the current IGP didn't budge. He wouldn't allow you to just bring your people. And so some of them expressed their discomfort and why he wouldn't allow them to have their way. And so I would say that probably something is being done, but it has to be done in a manner that is, it's probably widespread so that they don't give quota to anybody. But I know that something is getting done. But previously, I tell you that some of these officers who have been arrested spent just about 2 to 3 months training. And so it tells you how quickly some other administration try to get...
So very porous systems we have here.
Yes.
And we need to work on them. But in these matters, we're even talking about, Parliament or the Speaker being an arbiter in his own, matter. Let's put that into the context of what we're talking about. Should the Ghana Police Service be the referee in here investigating itself? Or should we have an independent committee or commission go into some of these developments? Specifically in reference to this one, and maybe generally in scope in terms of some of the problems that the police service is facing. Should we have an independent body getting into this, or the police service to investigate itself?
Well, some of us, when Ayawaso West War Gone happened, there is a portion that actually said there should be a police complaint, authority or commission put in place, a permanent one, so that if citizens are not happy with the performance of the police, you can walk in there and, put in a petition and they would independently investigate it. And so that thing is still in my mind, and I would say that even if it cannot be done, the executive would not want to do information. Sometimes they don't know where to go and report it. Just imagine you encounter one of these police robbers in a village, and that police robber stays in that village in a cottage somewhere, and you have to go to the only village police station where this police officer is a counter NCO. The counter and commission officer is supposed to write your statement. And you are going to report to him that I think I met somebody who looks like you going to rob. I bet you will not do that. But if there is something like that, put in place where we can all call,
right.
A hotline we can all call to make complaints, and there is an investigative team put in place who are not police officers, who knows what it takes to investigate some of these matters. That would help. But I must say that with this current arrest, the police... And
I'd be grateful. I'd be grateful, Dr. Bonner, if you could summarize your final thoughts in about a minute. Please go.
Okay. So I would say that with this current arrest, the numbers are likely to go up. And I would add the IGP and his team. They are currently using intelligence-led policing they are doing at the moment. They should continue, and hoping that they will continue to, feed us and loop us in with whatever they are doing so that the public can follow the end of this story.
Has your just briefly, in 10 seconds, has your confidence in the police waned anyway? Has it depreciated?
Partly it has depreciated. I tell you what, yesterday when I was driving back home, 2-3 young police officers who were holding these long rifles, when I saw them, it sent shivers through my spine that, these young boys, police officers, some of them are criminals, and so I wouldn't want you to be crossing my vehicle. But I'm sure it's going to happen to a lot of us in this country. But I must say, we don't have a choice. We should continue to support the Ghana Police Service.
Thank you, Dr. Adam Bona, there, security analyst. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. Let me come into the studio. And as I pose the question to both of you, you address the same issue. I want to also read out what Kwame A. put out there. And I do not associate with his comments, but it's relevant that we put it out. Police involved in Bullion Van Robberies are being killed. Why? Because top police commissioners are involved in the robberies. I suspect them. He says, I suspect them. They gave a criminal like Jaru a gun, referring to one of them. Idiots in uniform. The police service is a huge criminal organization with a few good men. Like I said, let me make it very clear. I do not subscribe to these. I do not think some of them are idiots or whatever. I feel some of them, don't act in the right way. Like last Sunday, after I had hosted a show, and the very unpleasant way some of them acted. But by and large, I feel they are doing a good job. But the question is to you guys, how do you relate what is happening to what Kwame A. says? And do you agree with him in any way? I'll start with you, Roxanne.
Okay. First of all, I disagree with him. Even though I share similar views, I think these are very strong words.
Where are the points of convergence?
That we increasingly are having miscreants having access to serve within the police service. And so our screening, sieving process is becoming weaker. And because of that, you have a policeman, a serving police officer, whose gun will be traceable to an armed robber who's been arrested. And we've had this so many years, stretching back to about 12, 13 years. You hear of a robbery. Investigations will reveal that the gun used is actually a gun allocated to a certain serving officer. He may not have been involved directly, but what is your gun doing in the hands of a miscreant that had been arrested? You also recall that there used to be a lot of bank robberies. I think the robberies from the banks moved to the bullion vans. And when did these robberies happen and the persons are arrested, the guns they use traceable to policemen? Now we are having men in uniform who themselves are getting involved in the actual robberies. So what do? It's a human institution. There will be miscreants. But I think the sieving process, the screening, should be tougher so that we don't get these people involved. And finally, you recall that where are the vigilantes disbanded by the NPP? It's a political question we've been asking. We suspect that some have been recruited. And no. It's a fair point to make. It's a fair point to make. They've been recruited. They were not properly screened. And if you check the recruitment, if you check the background of some of these people who have been arrested, you will see that they may have been recently recruited. So we need to check how we are recruiting people into their services.
Okay, all right.
To be able to check some of this.
Quick one from Sylvester.
That should be my preliminary comment.
Well, I think I have a problem with the premise on which you ask this question. Because somebody made a post. You disassociate yourself from the post. It
doesn't take away the fact that people are thinking in that same respect.
Please. You have an editorial policy, and you think it's not worth associating with. You've read it on air.
I merely said, please right back at you. I merely said that I do not agree with him. It does not mean that he is not, there's nothing of essence of substance in this.
My brother.
I'm merely saying
we are building,
some of the points in here I dissociate with.
Please,
I do not like
building a
the
society.
tone you take with some of the,
I'm taking a strong stance on this.
And I disagree with you.
Yeah, you can't disagree with me. You don't like it. Why did you read it on air? Do you know how many people are watching and listening to you?
Did you hear your colleague talk about the fact that some of what has been said here, he agrees with it?
Please.
So it's a matter of opinion.
You are the host and the owner.
Sylvester, go ahead with your point.
I'm saying that I decided, don't do that again. Please. If you
are you now telling me what should be my editorial policy?
Please.
Are you telling me what should be
editorial policy? I'm not telling you, but you cannot read something
so
find offensive.
So Sylvester,
and then you say you disagree.
Sylvester,
please, it's
wrong. And let me be in my lane.
You bring me here.
I am host.
I'm a guest.
You do your best.
I'm a guest.
So don't denigrate what I am doing. You can disagree, but don't tell me what I should do.
But I'm saying it's offensive. It is unprofessional.
Right.
For you to have read something you disassociate yourself with to the millions of people.
Your opinion. Go ahead.
Yes.
It's your opinion.
It's unprofessional. And let me say.
Your opinion.
Yes. It's unprofessional.
It is your opinion.
Yeah, it's my opinion. But many people watching this morning, something that you don't believe in, you think can
you attack the substantive matter or because your time is almost done?
Yes, my time can be done. You can take me off. But the point is that it's unprofessional for what you've done.
Okay, so let's wrap on the BUEM bit. I want us to use the next 2 minutes or so to wrap on that. Roxanne, your quick take on this situation where they are saying Saul to allow them to, get into, what is it? To have not be disenfranchised. Basically, we're going to conduct a new election. We're going to annul what happened in BUEM in 2020. And of course, we've heard Honorable Adams speak to the issues, but what is your quick take on that? I'll give you both a minute each.
No, I don't think the AG said that. But he...
No, the suggestion, basically.
Yes, no,
not that it is going to,
yes,
but the suggestion.
But I think it cannot be done.
It cannot be done?
Cannot be done.
How so?
Because, you see, by the arrangements of the Electoral Commission itself, it didn't place SAL under BUEM. SAL wasn't placed under BUEM for purposes of the 2020 elections. What they did was, they carved SAL out of BUEM. And SAL, even though at that time, for some reason, SAL was lifted and sent to UTI when UTI was created. Yeah. So they moved them across regional lines. Yeah. But technically speaking, remained part of what were until the dissolution of the 7th Parliament. Then, on the eve of the 7th December elections, they were taken out of BUEM and placed in a cul-de-sac sort of. So they didn't constitute part of the elections that took place in the BUEM constituency. So nobody could say that because they constituted part of BUEM constituency, the elections that was conducted in 2020 leading to the Member of Parliament coming and serving the 8th Parliament should be annulled. They were not.
So for you, is this
made it such a
stillborn right from the start?
Yes. So it made the whole thing such a strange creature. So we are asking, if this is the situation, why don't you create a new constituency? Then the AG said that he advised the AC not to, pursuant to Article 47, Clause 6. Then I challenge him that 47, Clause 6 cannot be applicable to SAL. Because when you vary the constituency boundaries of BUEM, so to speak, SAL wasn't part of BUEM. So he couldn't be saying that they shouldn't.
So fundamentally, it's impossible.
It's impossible for me.
Let me take Sylvester's.
I think that is a very difficult situation.
How difficult?
Yeah, it's difficult where people of SAR are without representation. And the consensus was that a new constituency will be created for them to have a representation.
Right.
If I find myself in the area of SAR, obviously, I will equally agitate to have a representation because today, nobody is responsible for SAR.
Is it not too late to go there?
I mean, it's not too late. We should look at it. And our AG was only professing some solutions, if indeed we want to get them a representation, as it were. So I think that they should work around the clock, and he's made it clear that SAR will get the representation in the next parliament. But before then, what should be the arrangement for the people of SAR to have a representation and their needs should be taken care of. And one of the things they kept expressing is that they did not have opportunity to decide leadership in the last elections. Even though they voted in the presidential elections, they did not vote in the parliamentary elections, which I think is a very technical issue. I have not read entirely the position of the AG. I'll take time to really read. But in a nutshell, the people are asking for representation, and we should take steps to be able to aid them have a representation.
It's a naughty situation, that one. It's a very naughty one. But gentlemen, thank you so much.
It was deliberately created.
Oh. It was deliberate?
Yeah.
Please.
It was deliberate.
It was deliberate. But hold on, gentlemen. Hold on. Don't get off your seat yet.
I don't know whether I was part of
it. I'm thankful that you've joined the conversation. Sylvester Tete, Member of Parliament, Botiano, English here, Manfro. We agreed to disagree sometimes. Thanks for coming. Thanks so much. We also have Roxanne Nelson, Dafia Mekpo, Member of Parliament, South Day.
Dafia Mekpo.
Oh, so it's not Dafia?
No, Dafia Mekpo.
You should be blowing some air. You should be blowing some
air.
Yeah,
you should blow a candle.
Is this sugar copper?
That's right.
So the same. Yeah.
Go to the house and see.
But thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining the conversation. Now, when we return, we'll give you a sneak peek into our Living Standard series with a focus on how young people are struggling to put up their own buildings, the difficulties involved in all of that. That is the background for a conversation we are going to be having right after the break.